Now that's what I'm talking about. This is creating your own energy that's maybe raining, but it's sun shining in here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Isn't that exciting? And we are the best. We are the best. Okay, I'm going to talk today about understanding the mechanics of the universe and dis-ease and healing. We done it. We created our energy. But really, in order to understand about healing, you've got to understand about the energy, which is the mechanics of the universe. The energy is an explicit, precise system of compatibility. That means that whatever is your deepest inner self is going to be attracted to you. The energy will serve it up just like the cogs of a machine. What you're doing comes back to you. And you have the right to do what you will, because before you became incarnate, as in this disguise of a bag of skin and bones and flesh, you were a field of energy. So you're already one with the energy, but we forgot that fact. Everything is energy. This podium is energy. Our music is energy. Everything is a vibrating field of energy, and you have the natural right to summon that energy because you are that energy. We're all aware of the experiments of where you send your thoughts and your intent to water. And you can send love, and the crystals of the water look like beautiful snowflakes. And if you send hate, it becomes like pond scum. Now, what, are we doing that to people? Are we sending that kind of energy out to where the vibrations of the person that we're thinking about feels like pond scum? Or do we feel like I mean, the choice is yours. But one thing about it, we just had this example of when we did the meditation. We went to a place of power. We brought up our power. We summoned source energy and then sent it out in a loving way to the people that we mentioned, to those that we love, that those are in a weakened state that don't know that they have this power. In the Dancing Wu Li Masters, Gary Zukav says, according to quantum field theory, fields alone are real. They are the substance of the universe and not matter. Matter, or particles of bits of energy, is simply the momentary manifestation of the interacting fields which, tangible and intangible and unsubstantial as they are, the only real things in the universe. So this is what happens when we choose to become incarnate. That we choose the perfect vehicle for the lesson that we want to learn. But it's not written in stone. You get here, you can change your mind. You have a right to alter this situation. Okay, say you're somebody in Canada that's decided that you are going to learn to be of service. So you choose a body to where you have to, and another soul has this contract with you, and that's your handicapped sibling, and you choose to serve this person. You choose to be of service. So there is a soul contract, but you still chose that as a field of energy. Say you want to really be a musician and devote your whole life to music, but you know that you have to facilitate this situation. So maybe you choose a body that will never be attractive enough for you to be distracted by the things that a lot of people are distracted by. And you choose a parent or parents that will facilitate your education in this music. And all this is designed for your birth choices. And so therefore, when you become a field of energy, you've taken the body, what you look like today is accumulation of cells and energy that are outforming your lesson. And maybe there was a time in your life, because everything you have experienced and understood in 3 dimensions of space, the up, down, left, right, behind, before, that you're just limited in this field of 3-dimensional understanding, which is where most of the people live, in the 3 dimensions of understanding. And I don't know if you have, but there was a time in my life when I felt so hopeless. It was so bad that I had a recurring dream of Bob Hope dying. Over and over and over again. But I didn't know enough then to know that this dream message was a symbol of the hopelessness I was feeling. But I had a choice. I didn't know in that state of consciousness that I had a choice. You know, we have the energy and we're plugged into the energy, and you can be a nightlight, you can be a 300-watt reading bulb, or you can be a stadium light. The energy's the same, it's you and your choice. But this is our disguise. This physical body is our disguise of what we truly are. We're a field of energy connected to the energy of the divine. These are divine vibrations. What the key is the knowing how energy works. It's a knowing that you are a field of energy. And I'm not talking about knowing. I'm talking about knowing what you are. And once you get that down, that knowing, everything that's attracted to you changes. You know, so many of our functions are on the automatic response system. The growing of hair, the ordinary healing of wounds. This is your subconscious in action. It's automatic. The conscious level you know about. This is where you can make a choice based, hopefully, on spiritual logic. And this is the level of the physical being. The superconsciousness is that part of you that is your higher self, your energy field. It is consistently leading you to your most desired growth situation. A little give and take there. You don't know what that's going to be, but it's leading you down that path. And increasing your spiritual awareness and placing you in situations. But then there is the supra-consciousness, or what we call the Christ consciousness, where you are in control and you are living all 3 simultaneously and you're fully aware. Now, when you're at the 3-dimensional living, this is kindergarten in Earth School. But there's no limitation to your body's ability to heal other than the belief you hold. The only reason you can't grow a new limb is nobody told you you could. I believe that if a lizard can grow a tail, that somehow, some way, if we could just tap into it, we could grow that limb back, or put energy and life back into the broken spine. I really think that's possible, and I think medicine is leading us there. Now, you can act as an instrument of God's healing power. You can summon source energy. That's you being a sorcerer. So you summon that healing energy, and you can gift it to another person You can't make the decision for them. But you can certainly be a channel. It's like when mom cooks a great dinner, you can put it there, and then the person can overeat, they can do all sorts of things with the meal you've served, and that's where your rights end. That's none of your business how another person chooses to feel the energy, because you don't know their soul contract. Like this person in Canada that's given their life, or their invalid sibling that has chosen that. You can't interfere with the soul's lesson. However, they have the right to change their destiny, just as you have the right to change your destiny. So when you act as an instrument of God's healing power, you must look beyond the wounded heart, the damaged body, or the pain of the individual, and see them as that God must surely see them as their true selves. You do have that obligation. You can't make them accept it, but you can live your highest self. And I know I told you this about Reverend Gene Graves, who was a religious science minister, and he explained this in such a way that I was able to get it, because I felt, as a controlling person that I am, me and Rebecca want to control everything. But he explained this, how you can see the truth of an individual. When you throw a broom into the swimming pool, what do you see? You see the undulations of the water, and the broom is all wonky, and it's moving and all of this. When you know the truth of that broom is perfect and straight, and you know the true image, and so you don't accept that wonkiness of the broom. Well, that's our obligation as a healer, to know the truth of the divine perfection of this individual. They get to choose whether they see that truth for themselves or not, but you can at least facilitate that. So this is how, if you're a healer, whether it's for yourself or whether you're trying to send this energy to another person, one, know the truth of your own divinity. This is a disguise. You are a divine field of energy. Two, put your laser focus on the perfection of yourself or of the other individual. That's all your obligation comes to, is to know the truth of your own divinity. And so from your position as an energetic being, summon the life force. It's your right, it's your ability, it's your natural power to summon life force. And from your position there, then give a polite acknowledgement to the perfection of yourself or the other individual. 4, release and let go. Don't keep at it, for God's sakes. Don't relive it. Don't keep it there. Oh, my poor beloved is suffering from, Why drag it out? They're perfect. Let it go. You are simply a channel of energy. The individual is a healer, not you. If you're sending energy to the person, back off and let them heal themselves. You've given them the gift of the life force. That's all you have to do. You cannot renegotiate their soul's path, but they can. And you can renegotiate your own life's destiny. I didn't have to be that person without hope that thought I would never get out of that situation. Finally, I did, 20 or 30 years later, but think how long I lived without life's hope, and I didn't have to. Ram Dass tells us the only reason for suffering is to learn you don't have to. It's your choice. You are simply a channel of energy. The individual is a healer, and it's letting the body's intelligence accept healing or not. When we went to New York, and I know I've told you this story before, but there's a couple out there that haven't heard it. This was my most enlightening weekend ever in learning about healing. And what had happened, we were visiting my son Matt in New York, and he had a friend, Jack, who'd been this kid in our house forever. Well, we went up there and he said, let's go see Jack because he's dying of AIDS. So we went out there. We were going to go out there on the train, but before that happened, Matt had broken his ankle in an audition, and so we were in a doctor's office on Park Avenue, and then we were going to do some other things, but he was going to get his cast off. So he went in to see the doctor. And so in comes this black lady, a great giant black lady, dressed like a peacock. She was glorious. She had this wonderful Jamaican accent. And oh my God, what a presence. Well, the snooty little receptionist in the Park Avenue doctor's office said to her, "Do you have an appointment here?" And the lady said in this wonderful Jamaican accent, "No. I came to see these people, Glenn and I." So she sat down and just started chit-chatting. And then in a minute, she turned to me and she said, I'm getting goosebumps. She said, "Now tomorrow, when you go, you're not going to be received. There are forces there against you. Go in the bathroom, wash your hands, say your prayer, and then come out and silently do whatever you do." And off she went. So sure enough, the next day we get on the train, we go out to where Jack is, and I walked in, and he'd already chosen death. What he wanted me to come out and make this sandwiches that I had made for the kids. It was on this crusty bread. Well, he couldn't have done that because he had that Kaposi's sarcoma in his mouth, in his eyes. He was going blind, and it would have just hurt him to eat this sandwich. And so all I could do was stand there and love him. But there was his father, a traditional minister, telling him that this was God's punishment. How long had he been telling Jack this fable? And so Jack had already chosen death. He thought that's what he was supposed to do. And in the next week, he did die. Well, it was devastating to me because not only from losing this kid that I watched grow up, but then I was so helpless. I was so helpless. There was nothing I could do. I felt like the most abject failure on earth. Okay, so we come back, and then we all go out with the cast from, I can't remember the story about the nuns. It was a show. And so we were sitting there, and I saw a lady over reading a prosperity book, and so I chatted across the row and said, "Oh, I've read that book, that's so good." And she said, "Well, are you going to go see hear Eric Butterworth while you're here?" No, we didn't know that he was where it was and everything. She gave us the information. So that Sunday, we go hear Eric Butterworth, and he must have been 5 million years old by then. And remember the advertisement about E.F. Hutton, that when E.F. Hutton speaks, everybody, well, that's the way it was in the auditorium at Lincoln Center. I mean, he was just being held up on each side. His voice was so frail, and it was so silent in this building. And so there he is being held up, and part of his message was, there are no incurable diseases. There are incurable people. So, okay, that helped me with understanding Jack's situation, that he had chosen to become incurable. Or, you know, sometimes it's a soul's path to be incurable. All we can do is send our energy and know that it will be received, it will go to the space within that person that it needs to go. Okay, that's enough about physical healing. Now we're going to talk about financial healing, and it's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. Money is a symbol. We are divine, energetic beings. And we just need to apply the same things there. So what I want to know, and if you've been in Unity churches or New Thought churches, you hear this. Why we can intellectualize all these sayings. Okay, you ready? Expect a miracle. Everything comes to me easily and quickly, and all that I need. Or this one. There is gold dust in the air and in my purse. Okay. But yet, we can intellectualize all this, and our pocketbook is empty. We owe bills, and we're in a financial state, and all we can do is intellectual. We believe this, but it's not touching us, or it's not touching our family member that we worry about. So how can we intellectualize abundance and yet in our actions maneuver another person out of their good because we believe there's only enough good for us? Something ain't right here, folks. All right, how about we don't tithe because of some sense of lack within ourselves? Tithing isn't ever about robbing you of your money. It's about understanding the unending source of spiritual good. So the healings for your finances are the same thing. Recognize that you are energy, as well as money and abundance being energy. Dollars aren't the root of happiness, but they're not the root of evil either. They're a result of how somebody is lining up their personal energy. And because you are a field of energy and you can summon life force, you can change that. So you keep your laser focus on the perfection of what is. You can't keep your cork underwater by putting your focus on what is not. There is enough abundance in the universe to take care of you. You've just got to learn how to line up your energy. One of the ways to do that is to give thanks for every bit of evidence of God working on your behalf. You develop a relationship with the divine. I always like to think of it as treating energy. Once you become aware of energy, and if you're intellectualizing these cliches, you're almost there. You're almost there. But it's still, when you intellectualize these cliches, they're out there. Divine energy is in here. So what you do when you're communicating in relationships, that's keeping the line of communication open. And that's what you want to do with divine energy. And continue to know, it's like a St. Augustine lawn, and you want one, and your neighbor's got one. There's enough twigs and sprigs of that St. Augustine that they rip off every day that could turn your lawn into something lush. All the things you need are right there. This is like what we as a church are going through right now. And I'm here to tell you that before our landlord ever decided to make another use of this building, which was what they've been waiting for, Spirit already knew. Our building out there is already there. We need to remove our blinders, think out of the box, because when that decision was made, our building is in existence. So we need to put the laser focus on being guided to the building, because everything's already in place. That's a great thing about our board, and I'm old, I've been through a lot of boards. This board sees the spiritual energy first, and we know that building's there, and that what we're asking you all as a church is to join with us in knowing this fact. That building's there. We don't know where it is. It's like every financial problem that you have, the answer is already there before the problem says, here I am. Okay, the thing is about finances, whether it's a castle or a button, if you are using whatever it is as the object of your attention, you're summoning life force to how you see that situation. Change what you see. Choose the knowing that the divinity is setting everything in motion for you. It's what our bodies do when we want to heal. The body knows the truth. It wants to be well. Like I said, we may have a soul path that is contradictory to that, and we can live life to the fullest in that situation. All right, we know that our finances should be better than we are, but once you begin to engage the divine as part of your life's partner, things change. Just in this past few weeks, this is what has happened. We set a plan in motion for something that we wanted, and it appeared. Okay, but we didn't know we wanted a fancy new fence, and Glenn had a job. The job was somebody wanted to take down their fancy wrought iron fence and put up a wooden fence because they lived on a visual corner. Well, Spirit, before we knew what we wanted, gave us the fence. Okay, that's the natural way life works. And you can do it, but begin to keep that line of communication open. Begin to know that you are a force of energy, and that you were part of the field of energy before you ever came. So you are an allower of what is happening to you. So what are you going to allow? And the healing of relationships isn't any different. You can heal that. You have to know that you are a divine, energetic being, disguised of a bag of skin and bones and flesh. But you know what? So is the other guy, a divine, energetic being. And you can't, what the Course in Miracles tells us, that which you seek to control, you do not love. You have to give freedom for the divine in your partner to fully express and not control that any more than you can, like the building that we want. We just set parameters. This is what we like. But what we know is Spirit has the best plan. This is the parameters of what we would like. You have to be willing to give your partner or your child or whomever the fully right to be human, to be a divine, energetic being, because, honey, it ain't none of your business. Okay, keep your laser focus on the perfection of each other. And so maybe your partner's run around on you. Maybe your partner's divorcing you or whatever. It isn't about you. It's about them and their path and their lesson. And all you have to do is be there to love them. And you'd be surprised how that changes the energy of a relationship. Okay, and express gratitude. It's just like communicating with spirit. You know, I see the evidence of what you're doing. And to your partner, thank you for whatever little thing or big thing it is that they're doing. And maybe it's thank you for helping me learn the truth about myself. But to try to control the person is going to mess you up big time. Okay, I know every time I speak, I think I use this illustration, but it was just so poignant. And I don't know where I read it or what, but it says, the beast didn't know he was beast until he looked in the eyes of man. So what that means is how you see that person is vibrating out, and either you're continuing to send them reinforcement for the things that they're doing that are self-harming, or you can see the truth and the divinity in them and put your blinders on to what physical thing is happening right now. So we heal others by the reflections of what they see in your eyes. They're not only looking into the window of our soul, but they're looking into the window of their own soul by how you see them. So anyway, we're all grown-ups here. So I'm paraphrasing the steps of healing. Remember your divinity, that you were always a part of divinity, that whatever is going on here is just a disguise. You have the right to summon life force. It's your right. And you can plug into that energy as a night light, a reading light, or a stadium light. Focus on the perfection and release and let go. So your inner being likes to skip and laugh and be healthy and be wise and be abundant. It doesn't want to worry. So I would invite you to be that child again of the happiness and the perfection, because a child always knows the truth of itself. And I don't know where we got to that we could have forgotten about that. So it's in there, bring it back. Call forth that remembering. It's the body's natural inclination to be perfect. So know it and affirm it and be it. And so it is. Thank you.